Yay! Cesare Aldo is back. This is Ritual of Fire by D.V. Bishop, and it's the third in the series. So, Florence, 1538, we find Aldo working outside of Florence, having run afoul of the moral code of his naive but honest protege, Strocchi, who threatened to expose his secrets. That kind of happened in the last book. So when he arrests a thief on a country estate, he finds himself on the fringes of the constable's disturbing case. A man was burned to death in a public square, and someone has been announcing the return of Savonarola, the fundamentalist monk and the scourge of the ruling Medici family. With links to secret societies and powerful men, Strocchi will also need Aldo's help to solve this case and keep his job. But can the two men heal the rift in their friendship and work together? I realized after reading that paragraph, my cat just came over, hi Grimmy. After reading that paragraph, I probably pronounced every single name wrong, because that's just how I pronounce them in my head when I'm reading. So that just is what it is. Can you hear him purring? Hi Grimmy, you're so handsome. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is the third book in this series. I reviewed the previous two in this series as well. And this is really becoming one of my favorite series of books. I'm very, very picky about historical fiction. I get annoyed if the author has too many anachronisms, or probably more if they misunderstand the time period they're talking about and kind of project things onto it and that kind of thing without really understanding what it was like or whatever. So this author knows his time period really well, and so it makes it just really enjoyable and very evocative. It's cool. You really sink into the world of this story. I also love having a gay lead in a mystery series and in a historical series. We don't see that very much, but also Aldo is very well written. He's a rounded character. He's not a cliche, and his sexuality is not his whole identity and personality, which for me, sometimes when I read gay characters, it's kind of cheesy, and it's like that's their whole personality, and this feels more like a real person, and I love that. So I've made these 2 points before about this series, the 2 points I just made above, so I won't kind of belabor the point more here, but just in case you didn't have those reviews, I think those are two key things about this series I really like. So this book, once again, has this wonderful web of political intrigue surrounding the central mystery. There's a killer on the loose in Florence, and the characters have a race against time to figure out who he is and who is next. And for me, this is a sort of plot that has always worked well, but it feels especially spooky in the misty alleyways and byways of Florence. The sense of a cult-like figure, Savonarola, being at the heart of this, and that religious element. And then the brutal deaths by fire are a dramatic element that's used really well, but not overused. It's not like a 80s horror movie or anything. It's great. But then the next layer over that is the Machiavellian one, where, without giving too much away, the men who will be killed are linked to each other in a hidden way. They're not simply chosen, but they have information or secrets. And Savonarola was an enemy of the current ruling family of the area. So while on the ground, it's tapping into a religious second coming-like scenario. There's an attack on men in power, and people may have a vested interest in the outcome. So it's cool. It's kind of got layers. I love that Aldo knows this. He knows the lines that link people in Florence. He's in on the tangled web, or he knows which thread to pull to find the spider anyway. And Strocchi is more like on the ground. He's less aware of these sort of political lines, this kind of unspoken stuff. He's more of an everyman in a way. And it makes for a really great layered read. I think it really captures Italy as it was in this time period. Makes for a really delicious, kind of intriguing read. But I think it also reflects, sometimes life is like that. There can be lots of layers to life in some places, So in these books, Aldo is always playing a long game. He has secrets he needs to keep in his own life. And he's also made enemies in the course of his life and his work, as well as loyal friends. So it's like a chess match where he has to outwit his adversaries and stay alive. And I really like that. He's a survivor. He also, as I said, he has friends. And I really enjoy checking back in with the characters on the sides of his story with each book. His friends, obviously. Strocchi has this brilliant wife. She's often very wise, wiser than her husband, and she's great. I'm hoping that maybe we get some more. She's in each book, but I'd love more and more of her. She's great. I really like Bindi. He's a character who's really awful in these books, but he makes for such a great kind of foil. Like, he's just horrible, and he's just so great in these stories. And Aldo's romance is pretty sweet too. It's not saccharine sweet, it's just nice. And I'm really interested in how that part of the story is going to play out in future books. I have a feeling it may end in tragedy, but I'm hoping not. This is another excellent entry in this series. It's scented with the smoke of burning flesh and echoing with the cries of a frenzied crowd. It's eerie, but all too real how quickly the city is caught up in the hype around this kind of Savonarola's return from the dead sort of thing. And it adds a wonderful level of tension to the drama of Aldo coming back to his home city and Strocchi needing his help more than he knows or can admit. It's a pretty smooth read all around. It flows well. It's hard to put down. Moves between characters and plot lines at a good pace as well. But that said, it's not a fast read. It's enriched with details and deep characters. So for me, each page has something that keeps you curious, amused, invested. It's a page turner for me. Yeah, but just a final note, I think at this point, it's the third book. While you could pick this one up and just read it and enjoy it if you want to, if you just feel like this plot interests you or whatever, that's fine. But I think it's a more fun and a richer read if you know the characters and have read the series in order. They don't give away much about the previous books, so you can, read this one, and if you like it, go back. But I just think... sort of some of the, a character comes in and you're like, oh, I hate this guy, or I love this guy, or whatever. So that kind of makes it more fun if you read it in order. Yeah, I really liked this one. I liked the others. I want more of this excellent quality historical fiction. Absolutely wonderful. Highly recommend this series. And yeah, the only thing I don't like is that they're a little bit thicker, which means that they're not like the series comes out like one a year. So I get the book, I read the book, I have to wait a year. That's my only complaint. Yeah, so thank you to PGC Books, who gave me a copy of this book to review and share with you guys. You can check out some of my other videos. I also have another channel and socials, so you can find links below if you want more of that. And if you want to hang out again, remember to like and subscribe. And you can always leave a comment, let me know what you thought, or let me know what else you might want to see. Thank you.